Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Today we are making our Halloween harvest pumpkins, and we are trying our best to make realistic pumpkins, so making them look as real as possible. The first thing we're going to be using are our oil pastels. If you don't have oil pastels, you may use crayons as well. Okay, so make sure you have oil pastels or crayons first. This is what we're gonna be using. First thing, like I said, is I'm gonna use my oil pastels or crayons. And the colors that I grabbed are the colors we're gonna use for a pumpkin. So I'm gonna use first the black. I grabbed some brown colors, orange of course for the pumpkin, and then I grabbed some green for the stem of the pumpkin and the little vines that come off of it. So the first step when making our pumpkin is we're gonna use our black, either the black oil pastel or a black crayon. Again, if you don't have any of these materials at home or in your class, you can use whatever materials you can find at home and just follow along with us. This is just how I like doing this project, so if we were in class here at school, we would be using these materials. So I'm gonna grab my black. Make sure your paper is landscape form. If you want, you could do it portrait form, but since I'm gonna make my pumpkin kind of a little chubby and smushed down, I'm gonna do it landscape, so this way. I'm gonna grab my black oil pastel, and my first step is kind of close to the top, not all the way to the top, but a little below, like right there. I'm gonna make a black dot, but before you do it, make sure you have space on the top because we're gonna be adding our stem. Because I wanna draw a black dot exactly below that one, but all the way to the bottom. But again, I'm gonna leave a little bit of space just so it's not so close to the bottom and it looks like it's gonna fall off the page. So I got my one dot here and my one little itty bitty black dot on the bottom. I'm gonna use my black oil pastel to start adding my different segments of my pumpkin. So I'm gonna use curved lines and go from one dot all the way to the bottom. But not too big because we're gonna add more. Ooh, make sure you're holding your paper too. So see how that's a very slight curve. And then again on the other side. And you don't wanna make it too big because we're gonna be adding a bunch more. And now we have our very cute pumpkin shape. I'll give you guys about a minute if you messed up or if you want to redo it, or for those who are catching up, I'll give you a second. And again, make sure if you do mess up, you always want to finish something that you started in art class. That's what I always tell my students, that even if you really don't like something, at least finish it, and then you may like it or you may not, and then you can restart another one. So you always want to finish what you started. After I have my pumpkin shape, I'm gonna draw my stem next. So I'm gonna draw kind of like a little fat rectangle on the top, and that's what we're gonna color in green later. Right on the top, just like that. And I'm all done with my black oil pastel. I'm gonna put that down. Make sure you don't get any of those black smudges everywhere. And I'm gonna use my brown and my orange next. And the green is, like I said, we're gonna do are like little spirals on the top of our pumpkin's head, because that's our, like the veins and the leaves usually that stay on pumpkins when they're in harvest. There's just a bunch of these vines. So starting at the top and just doing a bunch of these swirlies. They kind of look like little hairs too. And I'm going to use dark and light green. You could even use yellow too if you had some yellows. Okay, we got about 5 minutes. We are almost done. I'll give you guys 30 seconds before I start painting. We are done with crayons and oil pastel, so you can put those down, put them aside. I did my pumpkin shape. I got my stem on my pumpkin that I'm gonna paint green with my watercolor, and I have my vines on the top, kind of like the hair. So we're gonna start painting. And in case you're still catching up, I'm just gonna go ahead and start waking up my watercolors before I use them, so we are ready to go. The colors we are using, you only have to wet the colors you're using too, by the way, is I'm using my green. I'm wetting it, washing my brush, make sure you wash so you're not dirtying those colors. I'm gonna wake up my orange color. So I have green, orange. And I'm also gonna wake up a dark color for my background. So my background is around my pumpkin. I'm probably gonna do black. If you don't have black, because I know some of you may not have black in their sets, because I don't usually like using black in class. You can use like a dark blue, or you could even probably use like that dark brown around your pumpkin. But for now, I'm just gonna use my black. I'm gonna wake it up. So I have my black wet, I have my green wet, and I have my orange. Using my brush, I'm very gently gonna dip it in the orange now that it has water and it's all waking up and ready. And I'm gonna start painting my pumpkin. And the cool thing about it is that you can go on top of your oil pastels or the crayons that you use, and it's not gonna cover it up. So you see how the orange kind of like slips off the crayon? It's almost like a slide for the paint. So it won't cover any details that you added to your pumpkin. See how you can still even see the green on there? Gonna go all the way around. If that paint looks scratchy and it's starting to dry up, just add more water to it. Ooh, so cute. I'm cleaning my brush, clean. I'm gonna start using my black. If you don't have black, use a dark color, the darkest one you have. And I'm gonna go all around my pumpkin. Try your best not to get inside your pumpkin so you don't ruin that pretty orange that you did. And again, like I said, you can even go over, if you use crayons or oil pastel, over your vines, and it won't ruin it. It'll actually pop through. You see how cool that green looks with my black on top of it? And I'm not getting inside my stem, just in case. And I know we have like 2 more minutes of class. I'm trying to rush it a little bit so we can all share. If you don't finish, that's okay. Don't rush it or struggle with it. And the last step is we're gonna do our stem. And it's just a little itty bitty part. I'm gonna clean my brush, dip it a little bit in that green, and do my stem. And my pumpkin is all finished and cute and so beautiful, and I absolutely love it. Beautiful, we're done with our pumpkins.